Coach's Party by John. My life has been full of taking one thing, or one step, at a time, because when I was born, I was injured. It took a long time for me to catch a foothold on life, but thanks to my mom's love and her own determination, we made it. The doctors told her that I would never walk, but I did. For me, cerebral palsy is just a pesky little mosquito that I have to keep from biting me too many times. But the love of Mom and Dad, my many helpful friends, my own determination have all made my life an enjoyable one. I have so many good memories. There's time when I gave Johnny Carson a painted portrait that I did of him, or when I played on Andrew Johnson's piano and held his walking stick. The memory of wearing a coonskin cap that Fess Barker let me put on is a favorite memory. And I have so many memories of being football manager for 4 years. When I managed, I had my moments. I may have a Tennessee state record in the number of varsity letters 4 in football, 3 in basketball, and 4 in track. And head manager for 2 years in 3 sports, maybe another record too. I can't say that I was not the best, but I did my best and fitted in nicely. On October 2nd, 1992, a surprise party for Coach Richard Hewitt was given in the old gymnasium of Isaac Litton High School in Nashville, Tennessee. The following was read by Coach Ed Garrett. Paper clocks. Time is just memories of clocks. I hate clocks with outstretched hands, going but one way. I wonder if I could make a paper clock and make time bend and go another way. Time is my paper clock, bending in God's wind. Bending because the wind blows, the sun shines, so we can see all our paper clocks, all our paper clocks. The old clock caught me looking, so it told the bell to just go ahead and ring. It was time for me to ask. As I walked out of class, I thought to myself, was I really going into Litton's football locker room? Coach Hewitt was working at his desk in a small room within the Lions football locker rooms. When he saw me, he asked, "Johnny, can I help you?" It took me all of 5 minutes before I could get the words out, "I want to be a football manager." These words were some of the hardest that I had ever spoken, because I wanted to be a part of Litton's football team so much. Coach Hewitt waited until I had finished, and then he smiled. "Okay, Johnny, I have a job for you to start." With those words, Coach Hewitt went and got 50 football helmets for me to clean. They were all lined up, and one by one I cleaned those dirty helmets the best I could. I must have done a good job, because that started the best 4 years my life, even with 101 jelly beans marching above my head. I was a part of all the tears and all the cheers. But perfection was not the word for me. If it was, there would be no Johnny stories for you to tell. There were 2 times that I thought I would be shot at sunrise by all the coaches, or at the very least locked up in my cage for life. Both times involved packing for football camp. I guess my ability to pack more in one big box just got the best of me. I thought I had done a great job. But when we arrived at camp, Coach Hewitt discovered that I had packed only 2 rolls of toilet paper for our 7-day encampment. All hell broke loose. With a red face, Coach Hewitt asked, "Johnny, what were you thinking? There are 50 players, 4 coaches, 3 managers, and 2 rolls of toilet paper." For once I was glad the words wouldn't come out. Then Coach Younger and Coach Garrett hurriedly drove 10 miles to a small town to buy a lot of toilet paper. The next year I had packed 2 big boxes. On one was written in big print, "Toilet paper." It was filled with rolls and rolls and rolls of toilet paper. I thought I had done another great job. But when Coach Hewitt opened the other box, he found 3 football jerseys, maybe 5, soaked with tough skin, because I had packed the can on its side to save room. I thankfully don't remember what all the coaches said to me one night. I remember Coach Hewitt shaking his head in amazement as he held up that big blob of sticky football jerseys. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but I remembered everyone laughing. The old clock on the football locker room wall must have skipped more than one beat when remembering my war with the jelly beans. It began when I said to Coach Hewitt, "I need the keys to open the locker room." He gave me the keys but added, "Don't let anyone on the field, because we spent all morning lining the field off." When I opened the locker room, I got wind that 101 jelly beans were planning to march on the football field. I asked a few players not to get involved, but if they could keep the jelly beans from jumping me from behind, that would be a big help. I stood on the battlefield at the locked gate with my broom. When those jelly beans came out, they found a manager with a broom ready to fight. They asked me to move, but I wouldn't let them march. They started pushing on the gate. With that, I started hitting at an old tuba. Then the head bean came out and told me to move, but I kept hitting the poor tuba. Finally, Mr. Foster came and told me to stop. I stopped. I had no choice. He was the head honcho. When I got back in the equipment cage, I broke down and cried. I was scared. But most of all, I was hurt because I couldn't do what Coach Hewitt wanted. I really don't remember much of what happened after that. But the jelly beans agreed to reline the football field after they marched. And I was glad that Mr. Foster did not suspend me for following Coach Hewitt's orders. Many clocks have embraced me and their hands have given me friends and memories. My best times were at Lytton, being a part of its teams. To all the coaches, players, and my fellow managers, thank you. Most of all, I remember my last day of high school, when the equipment cage seemed so empty. And in the locker room there was Coach Hewitt working. I gave him my annual to sign. He smiled. It was the same smile as when I asked to be a manager. He wrote, "To a real All-American." But Coach, you are the real All-American. And I love you.